I trusted her with my tears. She turned them into thumbnails. And while I was drowning in heartbreak, she was drowning in ad revenue. This is how I let karma do the work. Welcome to the last lesson. If you're new here, subscribe for real stories about trust, betrayal, and the strength we find when everything falls apart. Let's begin. Her name was Mika. And for 7 years, she was the person I thought I'd grow old with, not romantically, but in that way best friends do. You know, the kind of friendship where you picture yourselves at 40, still laughing about the stupid things you did at 21, still showing up for each other's kids' birthdays, still being each other's emergency contact. We met in high school. I was the quiet girl who spent lunch period in the library, and she was the one who barged in one day, sat across from me without asking, and said, "You look like you have good taste in books. Recommend me something." I did. She hated it, but she came back the next day anyway. That was Mika. Bold, unapologetic, the kind of person who could walk into any room and make it feel like she owned it. And me, I was the opposite. I needed someone like her, someone who could pull me out of my shell, who made me feel like I was interesting just by association. By the time we got to college, we were inseparable. We had matching everything, phone cases, playlist titles, inside jokes that made no sense to anyone else. We stayed up until 4 in the morning talking about our dreams. She wanted to be famous. Not just internet famous, famous. She wanted her name to mean something. I wanted to be a writer. I wanted to create things that made people feel less alone. She used to say we'd do it together. That one day she'd be in front of the camera and I'd be behind the words and we'd build something beautiful. I believed her. When Mika started her YouTube channel in our sophomore year, I was her biggest cheerleader. I helped her film. I gave her video ideas. I stayed up editing with her even though I had no idea what I was doing. Her channel was called Mika Unfiltered, and that's exactly what it was. She talked about everything. Her life, her opinions, her messy relationships. People loved her for it. She had this way of making vulnerability look effortless, and I was so proud of her. I appeared in her videos sometimes. Nothing major, just background laughter, a quick cameo during a vlog, the friend who handed her coffee while she ranted about something trending on Twitter. She'd always say, "You're part of my story, you know. My audience loves you." I didn't think much of it. I thought it was sweet. Looking back now, I realize I should have noticed the way she always had her phone out. Always recording. Always asking, "Wait, say that again but funnier." Always turning our private moments into potential content. But I didn't notice. Because when you love someone, you make excuses. You tell yourself they're just passionate, dedicated, that it's not weird, it's ambition. And besides, I had other things on my mind. His name was Elliot. I met him at a campus poetry reading during our junior year. He was reading something about loss and longing, and his voice cracked halfway through. Most people looked away, embarrassed for him. But I leaned in, because that crack in his voice, that was real. Afterward, I told him I liked his poem. He smiled and said, "You're the only person who didn't pretend to check their phone during the sad parts." We started talking, then texting, then staying up all night on the phone, even though we lived 10 minutes apart. He was thoughtful in a way I'd never experienced before. He remembered things, little things, like how I took my coffee, or that I hated the sound of styrofoam, or that my favorite time of day was right before sunset when the sky turned purple. Elliot made me feel seen. For the first time in my life, I felt like I wasn't too quiet, too boring, too much in my own head. He liked that I read poetry. He liked that I noticed small details. He liked me, all the parts I'd spent years trying to make more interesting. I fell in love with him the way people write about in books. Completely. Dangerously. The kind of love that rewires your brain and makes you think in we instead of I. And of course, I told Mika everything. Every date. Every kiss. Every moment of uncertainty and every moment of certainty. I told her when he first said, "I love you." I told her about the night we stayed up talking about what our future could look like. I told her when I got scared that it was too good to be true. She listened. She gasped at all the right parts. She squealed when I showed her photos of us. She said things like, "Oh my God, you two are endgame." and I'm literally going to be the maid of honor at your wedding. I thought she was happy for me, but there were small things. Things I didn't process until much later. Like the way she'd pull out her phone mid-conversation and say, "Wait, let me film this for my advice series." Or how she'd ask me to repeat emotional things I'd just said, but with more feeling. Or the way she started framing our hangouts as content opportunities. One time, I was telling her about a fight Elliot and I had, something small, just a miscommunication, and she interrupted me to adjust the lighting in her room. "Keep going," she said, "but sit more towards the window. The natural light is better." I laughed it off. I thought it was just her being her. I didn't realize I was becoming material. For 6 months, Elliot and I were perfect. Not perfect in the unrealistic way. We had our moments, our misunderstandings, but perfect in the way that mattered. We communicated. We showed up. We tried. I'd never felt safer with another person. Mika's channel kept growing. She hit 100,000 subscribers, then 200,000. Brands started reaching out. She got sent free clothes, skincare, gadgets. She was living the dream she'd always talked about. And I was still her best friend. Still showing up in the background. Still cheering her on. I didn't know that my biggest heartbreak was about to become her biggest break. I didn't know that the trust I'd built over 7 years was about to be edited, uploaded, and monetized. But that part of the story, that comes next. It happened on a Thursday. I remember because Thursdays were our day, mine and Elliot's. We'd meet at this small coffee shop near campus, the one with the crooked bookshelf and the barista who knew our orders by heart. It was our routine, our sacred, predictable, beautiful routine. Except that Thursday, he didn't show up. I waited for 20 minutes, then 40. I texted him, called him twice. Nothing. I told myself there was a reasonable explanation. His phone died. He got caught up at work. He forgot. But there was this feeling in my chest, this tight, suffocating feeling, that told me something was wrong. I was right. He finally called me 3 hours later. His voice sounded different. Flat. Distant. Like he was reading from a script he didn't want to be reading. "We need to talk," he said. Those 4 words. I swear, nothing good has ever followed those 4 words. We met at the park near his apartment. It was early evening, that purple sky time I used to love, and now the color just felt heavy, ominous. He couldn't look at me. "I can't do this anymore," he said. Just like that. No preamble. No cushioning. Just a direct hit to everything I thought we were building. I stared at him. "Can do what?" "Us," he said. "I thought I could, but I can't. I'm not ready for this. For something this serious. I feel like I'm suffocating." Suffocating. The word echoed in my head. I'd spent 6 months trying to be everything he needed. Supportive but not clingy. Present but not overwhelming. I'd checked in without hovering. I'd given him space when he asked for it. And he felt suffocated? Did I do something? I asked. My voice cracked. I hated how small I sounded. "No," he said. "It's not you. It's me. I need to figure myself out." "It's not you, it's me." Another classic line. The coward's exit. I wanted to scream. I wanted to ask him when he stopped loving me, if he ever really loved me at all, if there was someone else, if I could fix it, if we could just try. But instead, I just sat there, frozen, watching the person I loved most dismantle everything we built with clinical detachment. He left, and I stayed on that bench until the sky went from purple to black. I don't remember walking to Mika's apartment. I don't remember knocking on her door or how I even got inside. All I remember is collapsing on her couch and sobbing. The kind of crying that comes from somewhere deep and primal, the kind that shakes your entire body. She held me. She stroked my hair. She said all the right things. "He's an idiot. You deserve so much better. This isn't the end, babe. I promise." I believed her, because in that moment she was all I had left. I told her everything. Every word Elliot had said. Every look on his face. Every fear I had that I'd never be enough for anyone. I told her I didn't know how to exist without him, that I felt like someone had scooped out my insides and left me hollow. She listened. She nodded. She hugged me tighter. And her phone was on the table the entire time. screen facing up. I didn't think anything of it. I spent the next 3 days in survival mode. I skipped classes. I barely ate. I replayed every moment of my relationship with Elliot, trying to figure out where I went wrong, what I missed, what I could have done differently. Mika checked in on me constantly. Texts every few hours. How are you feeling? Do you need anything? I'm here for you always. It felt like love, like the kind of friendship people write poems about. On day 4, I finally dragged myself out of bed. I showered. I put on real clothes. I decided I was going to try to be a person again. I opened Instagram, and that's when I saw it. A notification. Someone had tagged me in a post. Multiple people, actually. I clicked. It was a screenshot of a YouTube video. Mika's YouTube video. The thumbnail was my face. Mid-sob. Eyes red and swollen. Mouth open in what looked like a whale. The text overlay read, "My best friend's messy breakup story, she's not okay." My heart stopped. I clicked the link with shaking hands. The video opened with Mika sitting in her usual setup, ring light, aesthetic background, perfect hair and makeup. She looked directly into the camera with this concerned, empathetic expression. "Hey guys," she said softly. "So, today's video is a little different. It's more serious, more raw, because something really heartbreaking happened to someone I love, and I think it's important to talk about." And then she cut to footage of me, crying on her couch, mascara streaking down my face, voice breaking as I said the most vulnerable things I'd ever said out loud. I don't know how to exist without him. She'd filmed me, that entire night, without asking, without telling me, and now it was edited with sad piano music, with text overlays that said things like, "This broke my heart," and "She trusted the wrong person." The video had ads. 3 of them. I watched all 3 play before my own devastation continued. She'd even added commentary, voiceovers where she said things like, "Watching your best friend go through this is so hard, and I just hope she knows she's worthy of real love." She made it about her. My pain. My worst moment. She repackaged it as her content. Her empathy. Her being such a good friend for being there. The video had 1.2 million views. The comments were a mix of sympathy and entertainment. "OMG, poor girl. This is so sad, but also why am I invested? Mika, you're such a good friend for being there for her. Anyone else binge-watching breakup content RN? The guy is trash. She deserves better." Some people were even speculating about who Elliot was, trying to find his Instagram, making it into a detective game. My heartbreak was a trending topic, and I was the only person who hadn't consented to any of it. I called her immediately. "Hey, babe," she answered, bright and casual. "What's up? What's up?" I repeated. My voice was shaking. "Mika, what the fuck?" Silence. "The video," I said. "You filmed me. You posted me crying. You didn't even ask." "Oh," she interrupted. "Yeah, I was going to tell you about that. I thought it would be good for people to see, you know? Like, real grief. Real heartbreak. It's relatable." Relatable. I felt like I was choking. "You used my worst moment for content. You're always in my videos," she said, and now her tone had shifted. Defensive. "This is what I do. This is my job. And honestly, you're being really dramatic right now." Dramatic. I'd trusted her with the most fragile parts of myself, and she'd monetized them. And now I was being dramatic? "You didn't ask me," I said quietly. "I didn't think I needed to," she shot back. "We're best friends. You know my channel is my life. You've always been supportive. Why is this suddenly a problem?" Because it was my life, my privacy, my pain. But she didn't get it. Or she didn't want to get it. "I need you to take it down," I said. "I can't," she replied. "It's already viral. Taking it down now would look suspicious. People would ask questions. It would hurt my engagement. Her engagement. Not my dignity. Not my trust. Her engagement." "I'm sorry you're upset," she added, in a tone that said she absolutely was not sorry. "But this is kind of an overreaction. You'll get over it." I hung up, and I sat there, staring at my phone at the thumbnail of my own devastation, and I realized something. I'd never been her best friend. I'd been her content all along. I didn't respond to her texts after that. She sent dozens. Voice notes. Apologies that weren't really apologies. I didn't mean to hurt you. You're misunderstanding. Can we just talk? I didn't fight back. I didn't make a response video. I didn't leave a comment or send her a message telling her what she'd done to me. I just went quiet. And I watched. Before we continue, if you're finding this story meaningful, please subscribe to The Last Lesson for more real stories about betrayal, strength, and justice. Your support means everything. Now, let's finish this. Silence is a strange kind of power. For the first week after that video went up, I didn't say anything. Not publicly, not privately. I just disappeared from Mika's life like smoke. She kept texting me, calling, leaving voice notes that got progressively more desperate. I really think you're overreacting. Can we please just talk about this like adults? You're being really unfair right now. People are asking where you are. What am I supposed to tell them? I read every message. I listened to every voice note. And I said nothing. Because I realized something important. I didn't need to fight her. I didn't need to expose her. I just needed to stop protecting her. See, for 7 years, I'd been the person who smoothed over Mika's rough edges. When she said something insensitive, I'd explain what she really meant. When she hurt someone's feelings, I'd mediate. When people questioned her motives, I'd vouch for her character. I'd been her PR team without even realizing it. And now, I was just going to step back and let people see her clearly. It started small. A comment on her video. Just one. Buried under thousands of others. Wait, did she actually consent to being filmed like this? I saw it 3 days after the video went up. Just a random person asking a reasonable question. At first, it got buried, but then someone else responded. Yeah, this feels kind of invasive. Like this is clearly a private moment. Then another. I love Mika, but posting someone's breakdown without asking feels wrong. Then another. Has anyone noticed the friend hasn't been in any videos since? Maybe she's not okay with this. The seed was planted, and slowly, carefully it started to grow. By the end of week 2, the comment section had shifted. What started as a few questions turned into full discussions. Okay, but seriously, where is the friend? Why hasn't Mika addressed this? I went back through old videos and the friend was in so many of them. Now she's just gone. This is giving exploitation vibes, NGL. Mika tried to control it. She pinned a comment that said, "My friend is fine. She's just taking time to heal. Please respect her privacy." The irony was not lost on people. Respect her privacy? You literally posted her crying for 18 minutes. The audacity of this response, Ma'am, you violated her privacy, and now you're asking us to respect it? I watched it all unfold from a distance. I didn't engage. I didn't like comments or respond to DMs from people asking if I was okay. I just watched. Then, something I didn't expect happened. Someone found an old Instagram live Mika had done months earlier. In it, she was talking about content creation, and someone in the chat asked, "Do you ever worry about posting your friends without permission?" And Mika, laughing, had said, "I mean, if they're in my life, they're fair game, you know? That's just how it works. Fair game." The clip got screen recorded, reposted. It went viral on Twitter. Did she really just say her friends are fair game for content? This explains so much about that breakup video. Imagine thinking your friends exist just to be your characters. It spread. Fast. People started digging through her old content with new eyes. They noticed patterns I'd never even seen. How many of her advice videos were just her recycling things I'd told her in confidence? How many of her relatable storytime videos featured suspiciously specific details from other people's lives? How she built an entire brand on being authentic and vulnerable, but it was never really her vulnerability. It was everyone else's. Someone made a thread, a comprehensive timeline of Mika exploiting her friends for content. It had screenshots, timestamps, receipts. It got 47,000 retweets. By week 3, the damage was irreversible. Her comment sections were flooded with criticism. Every new video she posted got ratioed. People weren't just unfollowing. They were actively campaigning against her. Brands started pulling out. Sponsorships disappeared. Her Instagram engagement dropped by 60% in a matter of days. She tried to do damage control. She posted an apology video. But it was the worst kind of apology. The kind that makes everything worse. She sat in front of her ring light, eyes glossy with what might have been real tears, or might have been strategy, and said, "I never meant to hurt anyone. I genuinely thought I was helping by sharing real stories. I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. But I'm learning and growing, and I hope you can all forgive me." No accountability. No mention of consent. No real apology to me. Just a performance of remorse designed to salvage her career. People saw right through it. This is not an apology. This is damage control. She's only sorry she got caught. The fact that she still won't say her friend's name or admit what she did wrong. Unsubscribing. This ain't it. Her subscriber count started dropping. Slowly at first, then faster. 10,000, 20,000, 50,000. I watched the number fall like dominoes, and I still said nothing. She tried to contact me one last time. A voice note, 6 minutes long. Her voice was raw, desperate, stripped of all the polish she usually performed with. "I'm losing everything," she said. "My sponsors dropped me. My subscribers hate me. I'm getting death threats. I know I messed up, okay? I know, but I need you to say something. Please, just post something saying we're good, that you forgive me, that this is all a misunderstanding. I'm begging you." I listened to the whole thing, and then I deleted it, because the truth was, I didn't owe her my forgiveness. I didn't owe her my silence, and I definitely didn't owe her my public redemption. She made her choices. Now she was living with the consequences. A month after everything imploded, I finally made a video. Not a response, not an expose, just me, sitting in soft natural light, wearing a sweater I felt comfortable in, speaking calmly into the camera. I titled it, "What I Learned About Boundaries, Consent, and Real Friendship." I didn't mention Mika by name. I didn't show the video she'd posted of me. I didn't drag her. I just talked about my experience, about what it feels like to have your trust violated, about why consent matters, even between friends, about the difference between supporting someone and being used by someone. I spoke for 12 minutes. No dramatic music, no flashy editing, just honesty. I ended with this. Real friendship isn't content. It's not currency. It's not something you build a brand on. It's sacred. And the people who truly love you will protect that sacredness, even when no one's watching. Especially when no one's watching. I posted it, and it went viral. Not because it was scandalous, not because I exposed anyone, but because it was real. Comments poured in. "This is the most mature response I've ever seen to betrayal. You didn't even have to say her name. We all know. The way you handled this with such grace, you're stronger than most. This is what accountability looks like. This is what healing looks like." The video got 3 million views in 2 days, more than any video Mika had ever posted. People weren't watching because they wanted drama. They were watching because they saw themselves in me, in the betrayal, in the quiet strength it takes to walk away. Months passed. Mika never recovered. Her channel became a ghost town. She'd post occasionally, trying to rebrand, trying to move on. But the comments never let her forget. She'd built her empire on other people's pain. And when people realized that, the empire crumbled. I didn't gloat. I didn't celebrate. I just moved forward. I made new friends. Real ones. The kind who asked permission before posting a photo of me. The kind who kept my secrets without needing a ring light nearby. I started writing again. I even started this channel, The Last Lesson, because I realized my story might help someone else recognize when they're being used. When to walk away. When silence is the most powerful response. And Elliot? I moved on. It hurt. But heartbreak doesn't last forever. And I learned that someone who leaves you isn't someone you needed anyway. Here's what I learned from all of this. You don't always have to fight back. Sometimes the best thing you can do is step aside and let karma do its work. Mika didn't lose everything because I destroyed her. She lost everything because I stopped protecting her from the truth. The internet gave her fame for my pain, and then it took it all away for the same reason. Justice doesn't always look like revenge. Sometimes it just looks like peace. And I finally have that. If this story resonated with you, please subscribe to The Last Lesson for more true stories about betrayal, resilience, and the strength we find when everything falls apart. Thank you for listening. And remember, your pain is not content. Your story is yours. Protect it